Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Candy, and with me as always is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hello, hello.
Hey guys, do you think we're going to crash YouTube again this week?
I hope so.
Nice.
I hope so. That was pretty awesome. I mean, that's some power right there, bro.
I know, for real. I mean, a bunch of people, I saw like other people talking about, oh man, YouTube crashed, everything was down. I was like, we were live streaming in the middle of that. Anyway, good times. Well, thanks everybody that joined us last week and hit us up on Twitch. We jumped over there and recorded the rest of the show, and I uploaded the show here on this channel as well, so hopefully you guys can see it now. I thought Twitch had automatically done it, but it didn't. Thanks, Twitch. But yeah, so good to go. So if you want to check us talking about Werewolf Legacy, make sure to check out last week's episode. But this week, we're going to be talking about scary games for real now, seeing that we kind of ran out of time last time.
Yeah.
It's like that time of the year.
Well, yeah, and I think this is a good week to do it because next week is, well, no, next Wednesday is Halloween.
Yep.
What if next week we talked about like happy games, like non-scary stuff?
Exactly.
Like, what if we talked about?
Well, we don't want people to get too creeped out too close to
Just go ahead and jump into Christmas, right?
No. You want to be really creepy next week? Let's talk about kid games, 5 and under.
Matt knows all about those.
Yeah.
No, but Rhino Hero.
Yeah. I know about Rhino here. I know about Goku.
But you know how creepy that would be? Like, our Halloween episode, we're talking about Unicorn Glitter Luck.
Just the whole time in the
Did we ever
background.
not talk
like-
about Unicorn Glitter Luck is the real question.
It's
I
like,
play Unicorn. My daughter still loves that.
My daughter does love that too. My son is to the point where he's like, I'm not playing that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, Scotty, we'll just play one time. Then you get to pick the next game. He's like, no. I'm just like, okay, me and Vi will play.
No, Briley, she still loves that game.
Nice. Awesome. Well, we do want to talk about what we've been playing a little bit. Me and Rob actually got a chance to play a couple games. I've talked about them on the podcast before. I've got some more thoughts on one of them. But I'd love to hear Rob's opinion about what we played.
Which one do you want to do first?
You do Guardians, and then I'll talk about the other one.
Okay, so Guardians is a new game that actually just launched, I think this week or last week.
Oh, yeah,
by
it came
Plaid
out
Hat
on
Games.
Thursday. We were playing it on the day that it was actually released into stores.
Sweet. It came out from Plaid Hat Games and first designed by Colin Flores. Is it Flores?
Yes.
Colin Flores, great guy. You might know him. He originally started out with the Ashes podcast, and then he got big in that, and so Plaid Hat offered him a job. So to all those dreamers out there, you could one day get a job from a company if you kiss up to them a lot.
You just got to make a podcast
You
about
just got to
their
make a
specific game.
podcast about it. No, but Colin's a great guy. He's a lot of fun. I've met him multiple times at cons and stuff like that. And so he made this game where you pick 3 hunters. And correct me if I say any of the heroes. You pick 3 heroes, and your opponent picks 3 heroes, and there's going to be 4 areas of conflict in front of you. The different areas have different points on them, anywhere ranging, I think, from 1 to 3. I didn't see any 4-pointers. And what you were doing, you were trying to get to 9 points by taking over that objective. And the way that you take over that objective is, 1, an opponent does not oppose you in that area. You get to move the marker up 1. You can knock out an enemy hero, and that gives you 2 points. And so if you're in a small area, that might be able to just boom, knock you up into the area you need to go to. Or I think there may be like a push thing that you can do. But those are the 2 main ways, is to be able to move up the area, knocking out heroes and having control in those areas. The core box, I want to say, comes with 12 heroes out of the box or something like that.
I think it's 10 heroes.
10 heroes out of the box, and you play
You
with
only
3.
play with 3 in a deck, so
Yeah. And then there's some starter items that come in a deck like base, kind of like Marvel Legendary, where you have like your basic cards, and then based on the heroes that you pick, you add those cards to your deck as well. It's a lot of fun. So I had never played before. Roy played at Gen Con earlier this year, and then he got to play a couple times since Gen Con, and I think once or twice at Gen Con as well. But what's really cool is you have these heroes, and the heroes, it's kind of important to decide who you want to pick as your hero, because you can make some really cool combos. Like I picked these 2 heroes, and on my 3rd draft, Roy hate drafted me, and he drafted this person that I wanted to draft. Because I was like, oh man, this would be a fantastic combo, and he was like, nope, you're not getting that combination for all 3 of the guys, which pretty much
played like everybody keeps picking that same thing, because when you look at the special bases, like these work really well together, and they do work really well together, but it's like the first thing new people see when they play the game are like, these should work. And I played against it too many times. I'm like, I'll pick this guy, so Rob can't pick him.
So I had my 3 heroes, and I had never played the game before. It did not take us long. The rules are very simple, but I'll go over some of the highlights, because I know Roy's talked about the game before on the show. But here's a couple of things that I liked about the game. If your hero gets knocked out, he's not out of the game. He's just knocked out, and you get to bring him back and put him at a new position. Because at the beginning of the game, I wrecked one of Roy's heroes, and I was like, yes, the rest of the game, he's down to 2 guys. Roy's done with. And on Roy's next turn, he brought that guy back, and I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, when you knock out a guy, he's not really he's not really dead.
Yeah,
he's
they
just knocked out.
respawn real quick in this
and
game.
they spawn back. And so at first I was like, oh, okay, but then I started to really like that, because it makes it where you don't have that just utter defeat feeling of, crap, he's got 3 heroes, I've got 1 because I didn't use mine properly. Your guys are constantly coming back. And so that's a lot of fun. Another thing that I liked about the heroes is also the combos of the heroes and the cards. Mm-hmm. And sometimes your hero, well, not sometimes, every hero has a special ability. And if you beat up certain heroes, or you do certain things, and you load up enough mechanics to be able to use your hero's special ability, it can only be used once per game. But they're really powerful. They're really cool. And so I felt like I had a superhero team. Roy had a superhero team. And then we try to do the same objective. Not like I was the bad guys or he was the good guys or anything like that. It felt like, almost like, I'm not saying it's this, but I'm saying it felt like Civil War, Avengers or Captain America Civil War with good guys versus good guys. Heroes versus heroes type of a thing. And so
I think it's very...
Like, I want to play it. I want to play it again. I really enjoyed us getting together, and I'd want to see more combos. Roy beat me by 1 point. But again, Roy's really good at card games, for those that don't know.
It was close. Like the game we played,
that was the first time I ever played. So I feel pretty good about that for a first game ever.
Yeah, my poor was it Grave? My poor Grave character that can damage people. You just kept killing Grave over and over and over. I'm just like,
well, because she has this power where she can just hurt people. Like if you end up in a space with her, she'll do 2 points of damage to you. Because she has like this toxic thing, and I was like, that's not cool. So I wanted to get rid of Grave, so I kept killing Grave. And I had this one combo with the sniper rifle chick, who I used it well at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I should have moved my Phoenix girl, or not Ronin, whoever the other girl was, near my sniper rifle girl, because man, I had some awesome combos with her.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was a lot of fun. You won 9-8, and
I feel like this game has so many combos and so much stuff to do and so many triggers. Like, if you played this game a lot, you could get like good at it. Yeah, you can get really crazy with it, and that's why I want to play again, is to play with other combos to see what else I could do with it. Because I feel like I was more aggressive than you were. But in some of your combos, and like especially towards the end, after like I'd knock out some of your guys, the placement that you brought your guys back in, things like I had my guys all spread over the place, and there were a couple parts at the end where you just double teamed your guys, and you were able to get that 3-point place at the end. Yeah, I was pretty much like Just whatever I do, I just have to get these points right now. Because if I don't get these points right now, Rob's
I
winning.
got a mixed turn. Yeah, it literally came
Rob's
down
winning.
to who's next. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. That was Guardians, Plaid Hat Games, Colin Flores. Hey, bro, not just for a first game, but for any game, you did a great job. But first game, I'd say you really did phenomenal. I mean, really, it doesn't present itself as somebody's first game.
Yeah.
It presents itself as somebody who does not have a life and they play games all day, and they took stuff from all of those games and they put that into a game.
It has a lot of like an Overwatch feel to it, I think.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit.
Because you're like trying to push the payload and all that, and you have all these heroes that are battling against each other. You know.
So my question, and this might be a bit of a difficult question: Guardians or Ashes? If you had to buy
Oh,
one,
for me, Ashes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure Rob would want that because Ashes has deck building. This is deck smashing up together, which is really cool.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, you can
I
play
love the deck building of Ashes, and I also love the dice.
Are they different enough to not warrant comparison?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
because Ashes is very much like this is like living card game. Build your decks, continue to get more cards and build stuff together. This is where you have 3 heroes, but both players are always drafting from the same pool of heroes. When you play the game, you put the heroes out on the table. The rules say you put the heroes out on the table and you draft from those heroes. So when you're playing the game, it's not like this person bought a bunch of cards and I don't have any cards, so he has better cards than me, or he's got the latest expansion. I haven't tried that yet, so I'm not sure what's going on. If you play this enough times, you can be like, I know what that hero is and I know what that hero is. He picked that hero, and I know this hero has stuff that would do good against that hero. You could pick it. And it's kind of cool because the way they're going to expand this is with Crystal Clans, they have like these little like clamshell booster pack things which come with like a deck of cards. These are going to come like the same way, but it's going to have a deck of like 4 heroes, which I'm super excited about because it's going to be like this little cheap like $10-15 pack that has like 4 new characters in it, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Because it just makes your deck possibilities like way bigger, you know, when you just add 4 people.
Well, and all those 4 people have their specialty cards and stuff like that. It's definitely different enough where I think it warrants, like they're not stepping on each other's toes or anything like that.
Yeah.
The only reason I asked is because I missed a lot of what you were saying because I was running around my house frantically.
Yeah.
Looking for that cheese?
Yeah.
That taco cheese?
Yeah, man.
Were you really?
Gotta throw it away. No. I was
Do not
telling
throw that away.
somebody was at my door because my doorbell, I forget that it doesn't work.
You
So
could always like give it to someone else and see how their experience is.
I've got one bag of cheese.
Rob's like, I
Next
try
time
it.
somebody comes to the house, just make a quesadilla and be like, and give them like a huge glass of water, and then like 30 minutes, like after they come out of the bathroom,
I mean, it's a random question.
hey,
Your urine smell like taco seasoning? Just real curious.
it mild or
we're
spicy?
calling back to things we were talking about before the podcast starts, and everybody's like, I have no clue what's going on.
Everybody in chat's just gonna be like, "Huh, this got derailed really quick," and in a direction that was very unforeseen.
hey, that's the T-shirt for this episode. Let me ask you a real quick question: Does your urine smell like taco seasoning?
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Ashes better.
Okay.
Like last week I played Magic the Gathering, and that just made me appreciate Ashes even more.
Yeah.
I feel like Guardians could be a lot more casual,
Yeah, I think Guardians is definitely more casual. And the thing that was kind of weird to me for Guardians is like Roy and his previous experiences, like games were going like a half an hour to an hour. And we were done in like 20 minutes. And that's with him going over the rules and everything. I was like, okay, let's go. Like boom, boom, boom.
This game, the fact that like it feels like every turn is a puzzle. You have these cards in your hand. You're allowed to draw cards. You're allowed to move your characters. You're allowed to play different attack cards. You can attack with the character. You have lots of options, and you're just trying to figure out how to knock a guy out. You're like, can I knock a guy out? Can I win a base? And it's like every turn you're like trying to figure out how to do that the best. And some people, like, especially when you're new to the game, you're reading the cards, you're trying to figure out what you have and what you're able to do. It can be like, oh man, there's so many options, and people can kind of not necessarily lock up, but get time can pass as you're trying to figure out what the best option is. But when me and Rob were playing, we're just like, do the things, go here, do this thing, do the thing. And,
I was gonna say,
Rob doesn't play around when it comes to taking his turn.
No. Rob's a very anti-AP person. Like, we'll play Twilight Imperium 4, and it's like, Rob's turn. Rob's like, I'm done, go. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
It's just processing the things quickly, you know?
Well, I mean,
I'm also thinking about it
20 minutes
about
for
them
him
beforehand.
Yeah. That we get halfway around the table and then one person gets hung up and then they're like, oh man, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should do this or I don't know if I should do that or and Rob's just like, I'm just going to build a tech. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I have those thoughts and I play those thoughts out. I just play them out when it's not my turn. So when it becomes my turn, I'm like, all right, do this. And sometimes when I play that game, I may hang up like a minute or so on my turn if somebody before me did something completely unexpected. Then I'm like, oh, snap, I need to adjust. But
I love when the turns in our games of Twilight Imperium 4 start to bang out so fast that somebody else is like waiting on the person before them to take their turn. And they're like, I've been done for like 3 minutes. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Because it's like we just haven't realized how quickly the game's flowing. I don't know.
Hey, on a side note, Adam bought his ticket, and he'll be in North Carolina that Friday at 9:30.
Hype.
I should.
So if you're off that Friday, I don't know if you can swing it, Roy, but we'll pretty much be at the cabin from like noon on Friday.
Dang. I don't know if I can ask for 2 Fridays off in a row, but I might have to come like late on Friday. So you guys.
Yeah, because we're talking about doing a Kids on Bikes RPG, a little bit like that night, which that won't take too long, but. I just imagine during the day we'll play a lot of games, and then Lee will also be here.
That's awesome.
Because I think he's getting in Thursday. And
I think I requested it off, but I'll check.
Oh, he who shall not be named. Sorry, I won't say his name. That dude's terrible. I called him today. I had an idea for another story, and I wanted to run it by him because he'll just tell me if it's terrible or not.
Nice.
I had an idea for a story for a superhero that a guy could heal people. That was his power.
Okay.
All right, and somebody will steal this, whatever. But the guy can heal people, but his limit is because he's so brand new. Like if he heals you or if you die, he has to touch you within 10 minutes of you dying. Right? Because he hasn't developed his stuff yet. Well, there's this major incident, and like hundreds of people are hurt, and he's just running around trying to get to as many people as he can. And like there's like 50 people left, and he makes it there with like just a couple seconds too late. This one guy loses his wife, goes crazy, kidnaps the healer's wife, right? This is where it gets dark and demented, and kills his wife and tells him, "Hey man, I just did this. You got 10 minutes to come find her," to kind of make him go through that thing. He gets there too late, right? And then the guy with the healing power starts just going to town on that guy and then healing him back. And then torturing him, beating him up, and then healing him back. Torturing him, beating him up, healing him back.
I feel like it's a really good one-act play.
Yeah. Well, eventually what ends up happening, like if it was like a comic or something, the guy, eventually his body, because he was healed so many times from this guy, automatically gets like this self-regen thing where he's like, I don't know. So I ran that by Lee, or he who shall not be named. What a terrible person. I ran it by him, and he was like, yeah, but then what happens? Oh, yeah, okay, but what about this? And I'm like, see, that's why I call you, because it was just a thought. Nice. Anyway, board games.
Matt, have you got a chance to mess with anything or play with anything or do anything, stuff things?
The closest thing I've done is there's the Magic the Gathering Arena that just went open beta.
Snap.
A couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
The game was an absolute buggy mess, but I'm not sure why I'm playing it, but I've been playing it.
That's crazy. When I asked Matt what he's been playing, I didn't expect you to say Magic. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've just seen a lot of people on Twitch playing it, and I'm just like, man, there's just, I don't know. I'm waiting for like Artifact, the Dota 2 card game, to come out in November, the other side of November.
Yeah.
So I've just been watching other people play like TCGs, like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering and stuff. And I'm just like, man, I don't play a card game.
Dude,
I was like, this is So
I really want you to play the card game. There's the next one. The game we're gonna talk about. I'm like, I want all of my friends to have a deck. Everyone. But yeah, that's awesome. Sometimes I just randomly watch like PTQs on Twitch. I'm just like, they're always streaming like actual like Pro Tour Magic games. I'm just like looking at it, and I'm just like, it takes me a while to understand because I just have no clue what's going on because it's always new cards I've never seen.
They never explain it. Like,
Then
man,
I mean, because it's standard decks, normally you'll see a card played and then they'll play the same thing again. It's like, okay, I'm kind of getting the gist of what's going on here a little bit, you know. But it's interesting. Because the announcers
It was interesting playing standard last week for the first time in like over 5 years. That was weird.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I bet.
Man, let me tell you something really weird that I ran into with Magic. So, play a 60-card deck. If I have 25 lands in it, which seems a little high, I get flooded with lands. So I'm like, all right, now I got to cut this out a bit. Go down to 23, just drop 2 lands. I only draw 2 lands, and that's it for the entire game. And I'm just like, what's happened?
Yep.
What's wrong?
I remember those days, man.
I don't get it, man. I got to win a game.
It feels bad no matter which side you're on. Like, I mean, when you're playing against someone who doesn't draw land, it makes it. I mean, you win. It's like,
not
okay,
fun.
Cool.
Because that's what happened to me last Sunday.
I beat you, but
Monday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my opponent felt bad. He was like, I'm sorry, man. And then I swing in for this. And I'm like, the card that could stop it's in my hand, but I just don't have enough mana to activate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to do that? Yeah, I could stop that right here too, but I'm short of land. That's why I like Ashes.
Yeah.
Because like there is a penalty if you don't roll right, but you can still recover.
Yeah,
Where in Magic, you're just screwed.
And you always have lots of options, and it's best to figure out how to use those options as opposed to being starved from options and having to slowly build them up. Anyway, so the next game we're going to play doesn't have issues with mana, but it's designed by the same guy who made Magic the Gathering. Me and Rob got a chance to play Keyforge, which is the procedurally generated card game where the decks are all like your deck. There's no deck building, so you're not building decks, but you're playing this card game that has like, it's kind of unique. What do you think about how unique the game is? I mean, it's got like a little bit of Hearthstone type like combat, but the point of the game isn't to knock your opponent out like other games. The
point is to get the 3 crystal things or whatever it is.
3 keys. So you're all trying to forge keys in this game. You're trying to collect amber. So on your turn, your creatures come in with like summoning sickness, exhausted or whatever. But then when they're unexhausted on your turn, if you've selected that house, you can use the creatures from that house to either A, fight your opponent's creatures and take them out. And then it's kind of like Hearthstone-ish. You do your combat versus like their combat, and your combat's also your health, and you can end up dying if you take too much damage. Cool. Basic card game stuff. But the main thing is you can also exhaust them. Instead of attacking with them, you can gather, you can harvest amber, which is the point of the game. If you ever get 6 amber, at the end of your turn, you can check and tell your opponent, hey, I'm checking now. If I have 6 amber at the beginning of my turn, I'm going to forge a key. So if they can get you to drop below 6, they can stop you from forging a key, which there's tons of stuff that like steals amber or makes them lose amber or does different things with the amber and stuff like that. Or they end up getting it and they get one of their 3 keys to win. If they ever get 3, they win the game. So you can build up like this huge board with a whole bunch of monsters, but you're only ever allowed to activate cards of the house you pick. Each deck has 3 houses. You pick one of those 3 to activate, and you can play any number of cards from your hand of that house and activate any number of creatures of that house. So it's kind of like there's no like build up to like the resources. You're just only allowed to play what you've drawn. So it makes it kind of interesting dynamic when you have like creatures of 3 different houses and cards in your hand of 3 different houses. Which house do you activate? Which creatures are you going to use? Some of the creatures will still combo with each other across houses, but you can only play certain cards. So it's lots of tough decisions every single turn that you're playing. What did you think of the game, Rob?
This was another close game. I mean,
this was real close.
It came down to 2-2, and then if you didn't go for your key on your turn, I was going for a key on my turn. I like the randomness. If it really is random, the way that they're saying that it's random.
Yeah.
picking up these houses and doing the stuff. It was fun. I don't know if I would go like all crazy on Keyforge. I'd rather play Guardians again than Keyforge, just because like the thing that I didn't like about Keyforge is the fact that you could only use like whatever house you picked.
Oh yeah, you didn't like that mechanic? I love that mechanic.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, there were a couple of times where you played cards against me, where like, remember one round you're like, you can't play any spells or actions. You can't play any action cards. Mm-hmm. There was one round where you're like, you can't play any action cards. Well, I had one house where I had like 4 or 5 cards in my hand. One was a character. Everything else was action cards. And that was a good move on your part. But like, I don't like games where I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I don't like games where I have a wasted turn.
Yeah.
More or less.
And the thing is, that card could not be in majority of the decks, and the fact that...
True, but it's like one of the reasons why I don't like about Magic is it's like, okay, you don't have the mana, you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't mind losing, but I want to lose because I screwed up so I could learn from it. I don't want to lose because the game doesn't let me play.
Gotcha.
And so for that, I mean, it was fun. I'd play it again, sure, but I don't think I'm going to be one of those guys who's like, oh man, I need to pre-order 10 decks just to see all the craziness that comes out of it. I don't know. It wasn't.
I like the way that it's casual and you're not building decks. You're not having to worry about that. You can just crack open a couple decks and like throw them on the table and be like, okay, let's play a game. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's in these decks. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like this weird like sci-fi fantasy setting where you're all like different, like you're in the center of a galaxy where it's taking place and all these different alien races are coming and fighting each other over the amber to gather resources to build these keys. It's kind of an interesting, weird theme. And just the math behind the game, like the way the decks are built, is crazy. So like they have this giant...
I don't know. I think that was interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that uniqueness. But when we played the game, at the end of the day, I thought there were better card games out there. That I just okay, I'd rather play these card games because I feel like I can get more out of it. Like the deck building. And I don't know if that's like...
I feel like I'm too busy for that currently, so the fact that I could just get a couple random decks and throw them down, I'm like, yeah. So, I mean, if you love deck building and, like, that's what you want out of a card game, then this is Keyforge is probably not going to be for you. But if you like the idea of finding a deck that kind of, like, matches your play style and you can, like, be like, this is my deck and I'm the only one with this deck, you know? Because, I mean, Ashes doesn't have a big enough of a community to have gotten to the point where it's like everybody's net decking and everybody has the exact same deck. But like in the Magic community, if you go to like a big tournament, it's like, oh, if you're not playing this deck, you're losing, you know? So it's like all these mirror matches everywhere and everybody's like, no, this is definitively the best deck. I feel like that could happen in Ashes real easy if like it was huge, because the fact that you get to start with specific cards and the fact that you get to like...
Well, Ashes is pretty... I mean, it's definitely not on Magic's level, but Ashes has continued to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Like the online Facebook page and some other people, their groups are still growing and still going well and stuff like that. But it's just all like the deck building that I like. Like, I like losing because I screwed up, because I didn't pick the right combo. I don't like losing when the game... Like when we were playing Werewolf Legacy. And Matt was just like, well, when he was, we're not doing spoilers. Mm-hmm. If you listen to our spoiler episode, there was a situation where Matt knew from the very beginning he lost the game. There was nothing that he could do about that type of a thing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that Keyforge is like that, where I just knew from the get-go that I lost the game. But when you go through a couple of rounds and you literally can't play the stuff that will help you win the game or even help you stop your opponent. Because when you had those goblins and you were able to pump and turn stuff and do other things, and there was literally a couple rounds where I couldn't do anything because if I played this one card, that's the only thing I'd be able to play, the only thing I'd be able to do, and that wasn't enough to do anything. And so it's just like, I don't know, man. I want to lose because it's something that I did, so I can learn from it. If it's not helping me get better, then why am I playing it?
But when games are super like that, it makes it less casual. You know, sometimes that randomness or just being stuck can make it where it could swing. And
hey, playing with like Mark, Kale, Ashes, that's super casual, super easy. But I think it also depends on your attitude too, though. Like, I don't mind playing Ashes, or heck, when we would play Redemption or other stuff like that, or things together, like in Still Lose. Like, I don't care. Like, to me, it's I don't know. It's
you just want a game where the person that's played it more is going to win.
Well, I want to play against people that have played a game against more, because then that tells me if I can beat this person who's played this game a lot more than I have, I'm doing pretty good. Or if I'm on to something, okay, like, I don't know. I'm just like that in life. I want to further myself. And if I can do something that'll help further myself, I'm into that. Gotcha. But when I don't have a chance at all, I feel like, to me, that's not fun. Like I said, like, I'd rather me make the mistake and like learn from that than just I don't know, just sit there.
Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the the algorithm.
Mega Millions, 1.6 billion Powerball.
Oh yeah, people keep telling me about a lottery ticket.
Hey, real quick, it's too late now. I think the thing's already happened. What game would you buy first if you did win that?
I would buy a car called a Tesla. And
no, what game first? No, like, you already have a Tesla, you already have the house, you already have all that stuff.
I don't know. I'd probably just buy my wish list on cool stuff. Like, there's not a game that I want that's like incredibly expensive. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay. I would love to have the War of the Ring Collector's Edition, but I still don't know if I would want to spend like $1,000 on a board game.
Bro, if you just won, what's the payout? Like $900-something million on the 1.6 buyout, you could afford.
I mean, I'm sure I could afford it, but I would still be at the point where it's like, I could probably get somebody to professionally paint my current copy, and it'd look better than that anyway. So, with that amount of money.
I'd get that guy from Dice Tower Con.
Yeah, I was gonna say, build your own, man. Just go hire a wood shop and be like, I need you to create this.
Dude, whatever. Dogmite. There we go.
Yeah.
Bro, how cool that would be to, like, you know, hire them for like
to just
specific
pimp out
stuff.
A specific game. Hey, I need you to pimp out this game as much as possible.
I would have them pimp out like a Blood Rage board, just the board,
dude,
because I think the board could be better and bigger.
Could you imagine them making like an all wooden board? That would be crazy.
With like mountains and all that other kind of stuff in it, and like the sea crashing against it.
They could do that. They'd be all about that too.
Man.
Nice.
Anyway. You know what's scary is somebody else is going to win it and we're not going to be able to buy it. That's a scary game. Invest that $3 and not be able to buy the Blood Rage board now.
I'm not. I guess I'm the minority. I don't want to win the lottery.
I heard it ruins a lot of people's lives.
Yeah.
Well, when you don't know how to money manage before.
It's not even that for me. You got to think of how many people are just going to be like, hey, man, you've got $900 million. What's 20 grand? Come on. And it's just like, I don't like talking to people. And now all of a sudden, hundreds of thousands of people are going to be sending me all this like emails and letters. And they're like, thank you. You're the Messiah. And I'm just like,
start an LLC of an LLC. you bury that thing deep, because North Carolina is like one of those states that you have to like disclose. So, bro, my LLC of an LLC of an LLC will acclaim that ticket. Yes. And go from there. And I mean, I will definitely. I tell you what, man, the patron of the week, they'd get a pretty cool game.
Yeah, man, there you go. Amp it up. You give us $5, we'll give you just an indiscriminate amount of money in board games. So
anyway.
I don't know. I've always heard that you just go to an estate lawyer and you'll be like, hey, this is how much I want to give my friends and family, and I'm going to let you manage this, and then they can come to you with all their small, pitiful triflings or whatever, and then you can just handle it as you see fit.
See, I I would just tell them, look, you have one shot. All right, I have 900 million. I'll give you $500,000 to $1 million. One time. Don't ever ask me again. And I'd have you sign this document prepared by a lawyer that you're never allowed to ask me again, or you'll go to jail or whatever, even though they'll never uphold it. Because I know some of my family members, like a month later, would be like, hey, Rob, bro.
Hey, we've blown through that already. It's like, are you kidding me?
My current lifestyle is that, like, if you're not, like, immediate family or, like, grandma and grandpa to my kids, then I don't care anyway. So I was just going to, like...
Oh, so you don't care about us?
I mean, I care about my friends. But, as far as like extended cousins go, I'd be like, no, bye. Like, not even
so
a little
I'm better
bit.
than extended cousin, so that's good?
Yeah.
Okay,
not even by a little bit, Rob, by a lot of it.
Okay. Bro, I like what Dart's saying. Could you imagine the scavenger hunt we would set up?
That scavenger hunt, bro.
First of all, I'd have a suite at that place. I'd, like, get a floor.
But
that scavenger hunt would be on point.
As far as Keyforge goes, I wanted to talk about, like, Christian Peterson made, like, a huge article about, like, the whole unique games thing and, like, how they do it. Like, the whole system. They had to, like, upgrade, like, a lot of their computer technology and processors to be able to render the files to be able to even make the game. So apparently, like, they have algorithms that make the decks themselves, but then they also have, like, they put all the cards in these algorithms and then have certain cards tied to other cards, so that way it's, like, makes strategic sense. Like, if you have a card that refers to, hey, if you play this card, it gives these guys +1. Well, you won't get a deck that doesn't have those guys in it, So it has certain cards like tied together, and then keeps certain, like, tries to keep the math good. So it has the whole math side of that in building the deck, but then it also has the whole name generation part. So they put a whole bunch of, like, category of words and like what part of the sentence the word should be in, because each card is like a name and then, like, a title for that name or whatever. Like, I have, what is it? Like, the guy's, like, some name and, like, the usually white or something like that. It's just, like, really weird and random.
John, the breaker of souls. And you're like, oh, good.
Exactly. It's that sort of thing. It's like John. Yeah. That's a mundane name. But, it's like, okay, cool. But then it also has, like, the art on the back of the cards is, like, generated too. So every single back of the cards is completely different. So, like, whenever you have your back of your deck, it's different from every other back. And what they did was they have different layers for, like, each arm and each head and each torso and each, like, feet. And, like, they have tons and tons of different versions of these. And then the computer will, like, put together an image based on, like, well, this image hasn't been used before. We're going to put this image together. And, like, the same thing with names. You never have decks with the same names. You never have decks with the same cards in them. And then you never have decks with the same, like, back, which is crazy. And they said they had to, like, upgrade their computers a ton because they're making these high quality images, because every single deck, like, they have the name on the front of it too. So, like, they had to have the computer program put the name over top of, like, the cards also on the front as well. So they had to have a computer program and algorithm that would create the entire deck and prepare it for the printer to print that one copy of that deck out, which is, like, crazy. And they're doing it with other games now too. I was actually texting Colin today, and he was saying that they were playing the new game from Corey Konezka, Discovery. And he also talks about Discovery in that article as well. Interesting fact: when they were first talking about doing unique games, they were planning on doing a game from Eric Lang. They were like, Christian and Eric were working on a game that was this unique game that had all these unique, interesting mechanics and everything like that. And then Eric went and worked with Simon, and they ended up having to scrap the idea for the game because he wasn't able to continue working on it with Fantasy Flight. But then at the same time, Richard Garfield brought in Keyforge, and it already had the same principles. Like, Richard Garfield was already working on a unique game with all the same sort of stuff that they were working on. So they were gearing up to try to start making this stuff. And then Corey had this game that he was basing off of. He said it was based off of, like, his idea of Minecraft. So Discovery itself is based off of Corey Konezka's take on a, like, Minecraft style game. And I'm like, what? That's kind of crazy. And the fact that they're adding the whole unique algorithm built game kind of, like, fits with Minecraft, because all the worlds are procedurally generated and such like that. So I'm actually super excited about all these different unique games and the math and computer algorithms that go into making them. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool too. I think I'm more excited for the board game than I am Keyforge.
What kind of game would you love to see like have this whole like unique thing added to it?
None right now.
You don't like
I
it?
think
You
I
wanna try
want
it
to
out
play that
first?
first. Yes, just before I did that, like the only other thing I could say that I like is legacy games where they're unique based off of decisions and stuff you
Yeah.
pick.
Yeah, because then
that-
another copy of it wouldn't feel like such a waste of money.
Yeah,
It would actually be. It would be interesting and fun. I agree with that.
so but I want to see how Corey's goes. Corey is one of the few designers that I trust
Mhm.
to spend money on to see if this works, just because he's so talented.
Yeah, for sure.
And so yeah, like I don't even feel prepared to answer that question yet, Roy.
I think it'd also be kind of neat in a Crossroads game.
That was the first thing I was thinking too, man.
Yeah, like a Dead of Winter.
Because
Just-
the thing
But
that they
see, that
said
would
is
be an amazing legacy game.
they just have
Dead of Winter, Crossroads, and the story evolves based off of the crossroads that you pick. Like imagine like if you read this crossroad, open up this packet, and now here are your new crossroads that you had to choose from.
you could just have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of characters made for the game, like just massive amounts of characters, but then you don't know which characters you're actually going to get in the game, you know. But they have specific crossroads that work with those characters no matter which character you get, you know. They could do all sorts of crazy stuff like that. You have
Yeah.
tons and tons and tons and tons of events in the game, or tons and tons and tons of locations in the game, but then your version of the game might not have the same locations and search cards as your opponent's version of the game. Not opponents, but other players, other people's version, you know.
I don't know. I'm curious because I am sort of, I guess, the devil's advocate for not making uniquely generated things.
Yeah.
Anyway, because it just, I don't feel like it's done very well very often. So when you guys played Keyforge, was there literally anything, any one piece that was duplicated between your two decks, or was it completely unique?
Oh no, it's not completely unique. Like the card
So
pool.
mechanics.
Yeah, the
are-
card
There were a
pool.
couple cards, yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
card pool itself is static. Like there is a card pool of like 400 cards or something like that. Then the
Okay.
algorithm builds.
It's just artwork and the names.
Yeah,
and
the
that's it.
artwork on the back of the card and the names. The actual titles for the cards are the same, and the actual special abilities of the cards are the same. But the algorithm is allowed to occasionally switch cards from one house to another. So like
Okay.
there's like interesting situations where you can get these Maverick cards, which are out of class. Like if you're playing Magic the Gathering, it's like, oh, this fireball is normally always in red, but I got a green fireball. Oh, that's crazy. You know, that sort of thing.
Okay. Okay, just curious.
So they tried to balance the cards themselves, but then the decks they made with those cards are crazy all over the place.
Crazy all over the place.
Because it's
So-
like, I don't know. I know that it's possible because it's like there are more permutations of the way a deck of cards can be shuffled than there are, I think, stars in the known universe or like atoms in the universe across.
Yeah.
Like 52 factorial is an absolutely massive number. So it's like if you were to make a game that has that many layers to it, clearly you won't see a whole lot of overlap. But I don't know.
There's still that one chance.
Right. And it's just like, man, computer tech right now isn't at that level. But it's just like, I don't know. That's an interesting thing to me just to think about, where it's like throughout the history of time, since cards have been invented, it's very likely that no shuffle of cards has ever been the same throughout the history of time. Like, that's just really cool to think about. I don't know. Anywho.
Are you talking about like a standard 52 card deck?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, 52 factorial is an absolutely massive number.
I concur.
Perfect. Anywho.
So before we close the show, should we talk about scary games for a minute?
We're gonna close already? Yeah, we probably should. We've been talking for a while.
Don't you have to be at work in like 8 minutes?
No, not 8 minutes. I don't have to be there till later. Come on.
We just gotta start throwing on clothes, getting ready.
Let's talk about scary games.
Scary games.
Questions. Let me actually do this. Cool.
What are some great scary games?
Hey guys, what are some great scary games? Matt, you asked the questions this week.
Okay. What are some great scary games, guys?
I have a list.
Okay, go with your list, man. Let's hear it.
All right, my first one, obviously, Mansions of Madness.
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense. Seems good.
How about you, Roy?
Betrayal at House on the Hill.
I think the rule book is scarier than the game just because it's so broken.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be a haunted house game, you know. Are you going back on not liking Betrayal at House on the Hill now, Rob, or something? Come on.
I never was crazy about it. The one time we played,
Really?
I called out exactly what was going to happen.
I mean, but that's
scary. That's scary. Hector is going to have to chase me to win the game and blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what happened.
I love Betrayal at House on the Hill. I played it a ton of times.
It's a fun game.
It's
a great
always
game.
crazy.
All right, how about you, Matt?
I'm gonna go with the weird thing. I don't think there are very many games that are actually scary.
You're right. True.
Like, honestly, and
I'm going off of the theme.
Okay, theming is a different story, but like in just the realest sense of scary, I think XCOM is the only game that gets even vaguely close because just the amount of tension and pressure that you feel is visceral. Whereas other games, you're like, yeah, whatever. But XCOM, you're like, bro, everything's falling apart, and the thing's like, and you're like, oh no, and then it just keeps getting worse.
So if we're gonna do that, then you could say code names when you get like that one word in like 5, right?
I like
Blue 5. What the heck is he saying? Blue 5? What? There's not blue. You know.
Darth pointed out Spyfall scares him. Spyfall scared me when I first started playing because people were like, oh, yeah, answer the question. I'm like, great. Now I have to ask somebody else a question? I don't like interacting with people. What am I doing?
we tried to break you, Matt.
That
That was super early on because we had like the print and play of Spyfall that we were playing with.
Good old do you have a gun, man?
Matt, I'm Ryan. I'll say Dead of Winter is another scary theme game.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Roy?
Cthulhu Wars has a little bit of scary stuff going on. It's got all these horror things. You're all these monsters all over the board. And it's all these cultists and stuff. I don't know that I'd say that the game itself is scary, but it's got that whole Cthulhu mythos theme that I think is a great game that could be.
We just want to say like the Arkham series across.
Well, I mean, Cthulhu Wars is one that's not actually part of the Arkham Files for Fantasy Flight, but it is Lovecraft, so there's that.
Yeah.
So.
I guess in that same vein, Kingdom Death Monster is probably pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I feel like Kingdom Death Monster definitely has a lot of scary stuff in it.
That was up pretty high on the BGG list.
The minis are wild. To say the least. They're pretty crazy. The first bird is anyway.
You're like, how do I push this together? Because this doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before.
Man, okay, so let me tell you. So when I kickstarted the game and then like lead up to where I was like waiting, I was just looking at stuff and people putting it together, and there's like no instructions for how to put these minis together. Mm-hmm. And the bird has like 36 tiny human hands that go in it in random places. Whoa. So they're like, what? So somebody has like made a thing, and they're like, if your hand looks like this, it goes there, and if this hand looks like this, it goes there, and then this one goes by the anus, and you're like, what the what is?
See, I would just cover the bird in glue and then roll the hands around it, and wherever they lay is where it goes.
They don't have like slot pegs or anything like that, or it's just a whole bunch of hands.
I'm honestly, I don't know, but that was one of the big complaints. Is like everybody's like, assembling it's not too bad if you're familiar with mini assembly, except for the hands. The hands are a little weird.
That's awesome.
Or there's this one that's like a really big spider, and they're like, that thing's also a pain just because of trying to get it to like sit, because it doesn't have a base because it's huge, so it just sort of holds itself up, and it's just like, yeah, this is tenuous at best.
Nice.
So I don't know. One of these days, I'm gonna get everybody to take a week off. I'll win the lottery, pay for everybody to take a week off of work, and we'll just have a mini assembling and painting thing going on. And then when the week's over, we won't have enough energy to play it, so everybody will just go home.
And we'll have to go back to work. So thanks.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, you don't work, you can't eat, Rob. That's what you should say, man.
Fun fact, if anybody out there in the chat wins the lottery, the maximum contribution that you can give tax-free is $14,400 to any one person as a gift contribution, non-taxable. Anywho.
I'm at writing.newman.
My routing number is,
All right, do you guys have any more? I mean, I've got more.
I am out.
I mean, I'm sure I can come up with plenty more. But...
So I always thought Run, Fight, or Die was kind of intense and kind of scary a little bit, especially when like that third wave grows so big, and then it reaches your first wave, your first round, and you're like, crap, how do I kill all this stuff? I need to find a Molotov cocktail and like wreck shop right now. Yeah. And so that also was Zombicide on that same vein of like, all right, we just opened up this building and nope, now there's a behemoth headed my way. And we don't have a Molotov cocktail, so we can't kill it right now. And so I like that. There's one that I want to play that's not out yet. Rhino Hero is not scary. Rhino Hero is amazing. There's nothing negative at all ever, ever that happens with Rhino Hero. Even when it falls, it's glorious.
You just got to make sure you have your slow-mo camera ready.
I really want to play alone when it comes out. I really want to play alone.
Expecting. Interesting.
What?
It was not the game I was expecting. I was already typing another game expecting you to talk about it.
Oh, what were you expecting?
The Village Attacks.
That's on my list. I played the Village Attacks.
Okay.
I like Village Attacks.
What about the others? Do you guys think that considered a scary game, or with the monsters and the different deadly sins and the creepy stuff?
I mean, yes. If I'm gonna say Zombicide, then I believe you have to say the others.
Yeah.
Same game, different theme. No, but I was thinking the game Alone, where it's like original Mansions of Madness First Edition, except for everybody else is bad and only one person is good, and everybody else, all of their stuff is covered up, and they have to try to kill that one guy, and that one guy doesn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
To me, that sounds amazing, and it kind of reminds me of that video game like Deep Space. Is it Deep Space, Matt? Or is it Dark Space or something?
Oh, Dead Space.
Dead Space.
You're the one mechanic.
Yes.
Man, for some odd reason, I thought you were talking about Space Station 13 for a moment, and I was like, whoa, that's a deep cut.
No. I mean, yes, it's exactly what I meant.
Chat keeps talking about Necrophobia. Have you guys seen that game?
It looks scary. It looks really weird. The one with the axe and it's all black and it's like the lettering in white.
Yeah, but do you know what the game is? How it works?
Yeah, I think it's like a unicorn game or something. No.
It was made. I think the lady that made it was like making it for like her blind uncle or something like that. But it's a game where players play the game without looking at all, and you have these very like tactile pieces of this board that you move around, but you're all trying to get to the car. But you're in like pitch black. You have these glasses that make it so you can't see. And there's a person who's like the killer player or something like that. On your turn, they take your hand and put it on your piece that's in this board. It's like this 3D board that has like these little holes that your thing can go in, and then like you have your piece that has a certain feel, and you have like these bushes and stuff. You're kind of going through a maze in the dark, and you don't know where it is, but you're allowed to talk to the other people.
That sounds really cool.
And tell each other which direction you think you're going, because everybody else is playing on a team trying to get to the car, but also avoid the killer, and the killer can actually see like what's going on and where everybody is, but everybody else is blind, and you're literally having to play the game without looking at the board ever and move around trying to remember which ways it is through the maze, and then there's a specific space where the car is and trying to find the car, because you're only allowed to like feel the spaces like around you, I think. I'd love to play it. I've heard great things. It looks super interesting, because it's just like this weird board
gonna
with like
have
a
to
bunch of
get
holes in it, and you have these weird pieces that don't really look like characters. But it's not about what the board looks like; it's about the way you feel while you play the game. You know?
All right, I'm gonna have to get this because it's only $35. This will be a cabin. This will be a cabin game.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
But yeah, I'd love to play it because I've seen a ton of people playing it.
I was gonna say I might because it is a Target. So.
Oh yeah, they have it at Target like right now.
Yeah, which was incredibly surprising.
And it's gotten tons of great reviews as well.
Well, hey, if you pick it up at Target, let me know. I won't order this. But that'd be fun at the cabin. This looks weird.
I'll have to check and see how much it is. You might be able to get a better discount online.
Right now it's $34.37 on Amazon.
I will check and text you one day.
Boom.
Nice. Are there any aspects of games that make it feel creepy or scary? Because Matt was talking about games not actually being creepy or scary, except for XCOM.
I don't know. I think games that build tension are really where it's at, but very few games build tension
to that level
appropriately. Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of room, I feel like, for games to sort of grow in that category of like having a scary board game. And it's like, you know, your usual tropes, your werewolf, your mafia, that sort of stuff does build that tension too, and definitely can be a game that is sort of scary depending on what you're playing. But conversely, if you're a villager or just a random person, you're just like, well.
Hey, but it's scary when you're innocent and they're trying to kill you. And it's like, for everything that is holy, I am a good person. Like, you're literally lynching me because I said hello to you. Like, that's what happened with your sister-in-law. I said, hi, how are you liking the game? He's guilty. We need to kill him.
Just didn't look like such a werewolf, Rob. Got your strats.
Profiling because I'm hairy.
True.
Anyway.
I feel like Darth is asking how scary Spectre Ops is. I feel like as far as like actual personal feelings scary, like you can have like the hunters all around you. And that, have you ever had that feeling where they're like, he's either in this spot or this spot, and like they're right on one of them, and you're just like, oh no. And then they're like right on you, and then they go the wrong way, and then they're just like, well, he wasn't there. I mean, I don't know where he went. Like, where is he gone? And you're just like, or you like don't move for several turns because you're scared and you hope they run past you. That never happens, but you know, they just get closer and closer and closer.
Yeah.
But it can feel scary, even though the theme itself is not like, oh my goodness. Well, except for when that the beast is breathing down your neck. Might be kind of scary. Dude, I want to play the new Spectre Ops again so bad.
Have they fixed it yet? Like, can I order it now fixed, or you still have to get the stickers?
You have to get the stickers. They haven't sold out of the print run that they had. I don't think, like, from what I heard, I don't know that they're gonna like, oh, they're gonna reprint the entire game and do that unless they sell out through what they have. And I feel like it got stunted really bad with all the numerical issues on the board.
Yeah.
Makes me really sad, actually. But I love the game. I don't think there's... I mean, for me, I immediately bought it anyway.
I want to play it.
I literally don't care. I don't care that there's issues. I'll put a sticker on there. It's fine. I still want the game, you know. That's just because I love Spectre Ops.
I need to get it.
To be fair, if they have the same quality of stickers, like one of the Kickstarters I backed came in and they had a small misprint where one of the... It's like, imagine if you had Race for the Galaxy, but then on the player sheet where it told you what all the icons were, one of the icons was duplicated. That was basically what happened. And they were like, whoops. So they sent like a big vinyl sticker pack with everybody that are like super high quality stickers. And it's like you put them on the board. And at first I was like, stickers, but these things are like solid. Nice. So, I mean, if Plaid Hat's done anything vaguely similar.
Do you have to like get the stickers from Plaid Hat?
You have to do it through the Asmodee North America, like they have like a online website where you just go through and submit, like if you're missing pieces or errors in your game, you just go through that, and they'll send you the stickers. Oh. Yeah.
Hey, one of the things though that I like about a game that makes it creepy to me is the unknown.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I really liked about Mansions of Madness, especially in the first edition. When you have those stack of cards and you don't know if it's nothing or you don't know if it's a monster or something that's going to get you.
Yeah.
That's what I really like. It's like that build up of what could be.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think it is that sort of appeals to people about scary games?
Oh, it's that rush. It's the same. I would say it's similar to, what people want to go for when they go to that haunted house. It's that adrenaline rush of,
Yeah.
like this is not normal. Like I'm playing this game because there really is not a Freddy Krueger, right? Like there's not a guy in my dreams who's going to murder me in my dreams and I die in real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's the fantasy of the unknown, but this with like a diabolical twist to it. Because scary is supposed to be evil, right? It's not like, it's not meant like, oh, scary to me is that I ate too many cookies. No, that's a great problem. So that's what I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I could get into a moralistic argument with you about.
Well, and I was about to say, like, are we going to go like deep into like?
I was like, I'll pass on that so that we can pass for time. But I think it's just something about, like you were saying, just having just a buildup of tension over time, and then being able to release that in a way that isn't, harmful or sexual.
Well, because for some people, those cookies could be scary, like legit. Like there are people with phobias on everything.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Hey, I'll tell you what makes a game scary. The back of the Cthulhu miniature in Death May Die. That's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in a board game.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
I meant to mention it when Sean was on the podcast. Like he was on here, and I was like, I thought about it, but then he was like talking, and then I went on to something else. But man,
because he was like, man, it's supposed to make people uncomfortable. And
how
I was
do you
like,
say that phobia again? I don't even remember.
I don't remember. I like what AJ calls it, where he goes, man, he just doesn't like small holes in a cluster. And I'm just like, yep, that's
that
it.
That is exactly. Literally it.
That's it. Small holes in a cluster. Got me.
Rob's like, I don't get it.
No, I mean, I get it, but it doesn't bother me. But there's things that bother me that probably don't bother you guys at all. Like frogs.
Yeah, you're super scared of heights too, right?
I like
Bro, heights. It's the texture of the frog.
Okay.
If I see a frog, it doesn't bother me. But if that frog were to jump near me.
Hey, I know how you can creep us both out at the same time. There's a frog that.
It's that texture of it being rubbery or something and it jumping at me. Like I am the elephant when the mouse comes in the room. I'm on top of the chair. I don't deal with that.
Matt,
but also,
have you seen that frog that like it holds like the eggs of its babies in its back?
Oh, yeah, no, that's not great.
And then like they crawl out, and like that triggers that fear of small circles and frogs at the same time, because it's literally frogs coming out of small holes in the back of another frog, and it's terrifying. It's like one of the most it's one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen in life.
It's something anyone likes frogs.
If I saw that in real life, I would just be like, "Where's the shovel?" Like, I would not be able to be okay.
I contemplated buying one of those, like, they're like the large green tree frogs that just kind of sit around and look goofy. As
I don't mind regular frogs.
It's just the weird ones with the bubbles in the back.
Do you ever have toads hop up on your carport like at night?
I don't get very many frogs where I live, and it kind of makes me sad. Like, I'd love to live in a place where there were just tons of tree frogs. That'd be great.
Do whatever. Go behind the store that you work at.
I know, it's great, because we have that coworker that's terrified of frogs. So it's just consistently, she'll open the door and scream. It's just like, frog.
Rob's like, we're not talking about frogs anymore.
Rob's muted us.
No, I'm looking up this game that Jordan was talking about.
Oh, the one where you have decks of cards in different rooms of the house?
Yeah, this house is haunted.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I've heard of it before.
It's not on Amazon right now.
It sounds interesting and fun.
That'd be like a cool party game. Like invite a bunch of people over, and it's the scary version of Cribs.
Yeah, but you actually have to like put them in different rooms of the house. So people and you're
It's
allowed
a
to like
scary
wander
version of
from room to
Fritz.
room and look at things in the decks of cards or something like that.
Nah, that's gonna be a hard pass for me.
And you're trying to collect items. You're trying to collect items. Dude, we used to play this game when we were kids where so everybody would go in their room in the dark and hide, and then
I had to play tag basically.
you would have to stay outside the room and then count, and then you'd have to go in the room and like try to get to like another part of the room or whatever without like getting scared. And of course everybody else is trying to jump out and scare you.
Oh man,
It's got like a haunted house but in someone's basement. Finished basement.
that's gonna be a hard pass for me. Jordan's like hid in the shower when she came out and jumped out to scare it. Nah, man. Absolutely not.
That's pretty much the name of the game.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be afraid to play anything like that with Rob because you would get hit. Would you hit somebody if they try to scare you, Rob?
Last time I went to a haunted house, the very first person that jumped out at us, I punched them.
Hey, what if
Right after, and this was not even 3 minutes after they said, "Don't touch the actors. They're just doing their job. Don't do this." And literally, like, you turn the corner, you go down this hallway, and like
I
there's a dark
just
spot
thought
in
of
the
a new
middle
scavenger hunt thing. Scare Rob at the
Now,
next game.
I did not full punch him. It was not like a full punch. It was like a quick jab.
It would have to be
but
worth
the
a lot of
guy
points.
Well, the guy fell down, and I was like, "I'm so sorry. Just keep walking, guys. Keep walking. I'm so sorry." Because there was a group of 9 of us,
Oh,
and
man.
he touched my arm, and just real quick, and he fell. And I'm one of those things, like, after I got it out, I didn't punch anybody else at the haunted house. But
You
it's
just have
just
to
one.
release that tension, man. I'm telling you.
If I get scared, I physically react. Anyway,
I've learned to temper myself a bit more now that it's like very lonely in my house. So it's like if I hear something, I'm like, I'm pretty sure somebody. Like the other day,
Yeah, just not think about it.
the other day my computer was on and I went to bed and it was like 11 o'clock and at some point something restarted. So all the YouTube videos that I had up just started playing.
Oh, weird.
And so my speakers are on. So I wake up and I just hear somebody in my house talking. And I'm like, oh, cool. So I'm just like, well, let me get the pistol. So I'm
you
just
don't
like,
have a roommate yet, bro?
No. I'm just like walking through my house with a pistol, like half naked, like popping around corners, like, you know, it's like, you know, I'm like, I saw this yeah,
Dun, dun, dun.
trying to be super stealth here. And then
Matt shot his computer.
well, thankfully, I got to like the other side of the living room, and I was like, "Oh, I recognize this as being something that I've heard before, but why is it on?" So I was still just in like alert mode. So I'm just walking around with a gun and a flashlight, just like checking all the corners of all the rooms.
It's like a scene
Yeah,
from X
no
Files
one
where
can
you hold the
hide.
flashlight with the gun.
Yeah,
See, that's when I'd pull out the shotgun, and I'd just be like, "Come on, come on."
I have that too, but I don't have it loaded actively. So
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have my shotgun loaded. My handgun, I'm like you. My handgun is loaded in a safe place. I am responsible with it because I have children. Before anybody starts commenting, yes, it's in a safe, locked up place.
mine is not in a safe, locked up place. Because
Yeah, but you don't have like little kids.
Never mind. Anyway, next
You don't
one.
have, bro. You have a kid?
No.
That's
Not that he
awesome.
knows of.
I was going to say the specific number of guns that I have that are locked up versus the ones that aren't, and then I was like, I don't actually just want to divulge that number. So,
Yeah.
That's probably.
how could you throw a scary game party?
Just say a number way less than the amount you have, Matt. It's fine. I'm just kidding.
2.
One.
Got the pistol and the shotgun I mentioned. That's it.
Don't worry about it. What was I gonna say?
So next game,
So-
how would you throw a scary game party?
Yeah, this time of year, like people are like to get out those scary games or the spooky games they have, and throw like a game day where they play those specific games. Like we played Werewolf.
See, I don't consider that scary. That's
Right,
like
right.
the scariest I
still
want
like-
to do in a party.
It was like the Halloween party or whatever that I had. Even though
But
I planned
that's
it way
like the
before Halloween.
scariest I want to do. I will not be a part of seances or anything like that.
No, I mean,
I
come
will
on.
not. Bro, there are people though, man. That is not for me. The scariest thing that I want to do is like we dance, copying the moves of 1983 Thriller. and we're all the zombies.
Would you play like, okay, we're gonna have the creepy Mansions of Madness game day where we play but with the lights off and like candlelight
like
Mansions of Madness with the creepy ambiance music?
Well, the app already offers that creepy music.
Right, there you go.
But see, here's what you gotta do. You gotta step it up, right? You invite people over. It's candlelight. You put them in a centralized room, and then unbeknownst to them, you have Bluetooth speakers that are set up in other rooms throughout the house that you just have linked to an app that you can just randomly press to make noises.
That's a 10-4 negative right there, buddy.
Because see, that to me isn't like super scary, but it's like it's scary enough that it provides that like tension that you're like, oh, what was that? Hey,
It's scary enough where I'm not going to check it out.
Have you guys played Escape the Curse of the Temple? Where you roll the dice real fast?
Yeah.
We played Escape the Curse of the Temple with the lights like super dim, like super low, and then I had Escape the Curse of the Temple going through my bass cab.
Yeah.
So it was like really loud. It was like escape. Yeah. That's pretty scary.
I do not do scary well.
Like actual scary. Yeah. Well, we know air conditioning can mess you up pretty bad for a while, so.
Bro, there's a lot to that video. There's a lot that happened. Was our last Werewolf Legacy thing episode 145?
I think so.
So why are we on episode 176? That's scary. Did I miss a lot?
Oh yeah, you went through.
No. I think we should be at 176.
Oh, which was the last one that we had? Was it the wrong number?
175 was Werewolf Legacy, according to the liner list of show notes I have.
There you go, Matt. That seems appropriate.
How many pages is this now? Oh, 116 pages of show notes. Not bad.
Oh.
Holy smokes!
We're up there.
But yeah, I'm not a big. I don't like getting. I don't like that stuff. I don't react well to it. I'm not a fan. Like if you're really trying to freak people out, I'm not the one. The only reason I went to that haunted house is because I wanted to watch my wife's cousin freak out because she freaks out like I do.
So you could just freak out together.
So we could freak out together. But she was behind me, and I love her to death. I love her and her husband to death. They are super sweet people. But so I'm tall. She's short.
Oh, so
and I don't mean this to be rude or anything, but her face was in my butt the whole time.
Oh no!
Because like she was so far against my back. Like I know there were a couple
times. Was she pushing
times.
you in further?
Oh yeah, because she didn't want to look, so she literally had her face against my lower back.
Nice.
Hey, do you know how to solve that problem? Just to
No, I wasn't gonna do that, bro.
And then, because the thing is, you have the perfect out for that too. You can be like, "I'm sorry, I was just very alarmed. It happens.
So to fart on her,
everything tensed up. Something came out. My bad."
Or just give her like a warning. Hey, listen, I don't know what's gonna happen. I want to back off.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
but
for a
the
Christmas
only reason why I did that is to watch that. I'm not a scary person. Like I don't like watching a lot of scary.
For me,
stuff.
I can like will it away. Like I can mess myself up if I think, and I haven't been like super scared of like anything in a long time. But if like I think that something's actually scary or think about scary things more, like I actually get tripped out. But if I'm like, no, it's not real. No, it's not scary. No, it's not actually happening. Now it's like if I go to one of those things, if I'm just like, this is all actors and they're all just acting and doing this thing, then I just walk through. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going, man?
There have been times where people have died in those houses because there was that one scary person. And it's like also the idea that somebody's touching me, even though I'm expecting it.
What do you mean how many people have died in those houses?
There have been people that have been like killers that have actually killed people in haunted houses.
Like through those lines?
Yeah, they kill people.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things is like I would be more worried about weird sicko people in the line behind me than the actual actors because they just do the same thing.
No, the actors.
No. Come on, Rob.
Google.
Come on, Rob. That's why you're scared because you think all these crazy things all the time.
Bro, if there was a movie, not being John Malkovich, but being Robert Newman, and you guys could see my thoughts and stuff like that, that'd be scary.
What about you, Matt? I mean, you talk about how you don't like scary stuff too. Like as far as like movies and
Would
stuff
you
go.
do like a scary party, Matt?
I mean, I would have horror themed parties,
Yeah.
but it would probably be like you'd have to give me like a crisp tenner to get me to play the game Jordan was talking about.
Oh, where
Where it's
people
like
jump
people
out at
jumping
you?
out and actively scaring me. Like the thing is, I would much rather watch something that is scary that like builds tension and suspense. Like I guess a thriller, as opposed to like modern horror movies where it's just like boo and you're like, oh god, all right, hey, hi,
Jump
I'm awake.
scares.
Yep, great, because it's like I don't know. But
Yeah,
I just don't do that, man.
I like thrillers a lot more than jump scare type stuff.
See, it's the supernatural, the stuff that's fake that messes with me. Because like, if a serial killer, like if that was real, right? I know I'm not running away. Let's be honest. You guys know how I look. I'm not running away. It's
You could probably take them.
it's not one of those things where it's like, oh man, everybody run. Nope. I know I'm the last in the group. I get it. So I'm just gonna turn and fight. Like I'm not even gonna try to run. I'm just gonna tell everybody, you guys turn and fight. If I'm not with you guys in like 10 minutes, keep running because I'm dead and he's coming to kill you. But at the same time, check him because I know I hurt him pretty badly. Like I know I'm pretty strong. So like, I'm giving you an advantage. But yeah, that's my thing. It's like there's no fight or flight for me. There's just fight. Fight or die.
There's no run in your run, fight or die. It's just fight or die.
Not right now. Not right now in my life. Now hopefully that will be changing, but current Rob, no, it's just fight or die.
man, nah, you gotta change it up. Hide, fight, or die.
Bro, also, have you seen me? If I'm hiding somewhere, right,
You're not looking.
either you're not looking,
You just
or
gotta
it's like
be quiet.
it's like an armoire. Like I'm in the closet. Like I'm in the most obvious spot. You're not finding me in that tight little like under the sink. I'm under the sink after they chopped up my body to hide my body.
I was gonna say I played hide and seek with my kids and they just never find me.
See, we played hide and go seek in our house like a month ago now, and I had like 4 spots I could go to. 2 of them were in either bathroom, hiding in the shower, and then like the other ones were like behind beds, where I literally had the whole bed hiding me. There was one point
you just had to walk
where
around.
I laid on the couch and I put a pillow on me, and my daughter saw me and literally just busted out laughing. Like, Dad, Dad, I know you're right there, Dad. Like, come on.
I went in the closet and threw a blanket over me. I was like, find me now. They walked by. They went. They're like, oh look, there's just a blanket in the closet. Not thinking, why is there a blanket in the closet?
They're just like, all right, cool.
And then they just leave, and they're like, where did Daddy go? And then you just start yelling at them, come find me.
Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. But I wouldn't jump out and scare them because that'd make them sad.
I do that to my daughter all the time.
You scare her?
Oh man,
I've done it before, but not
sometimes.
recently.
I'll even videotape it, and like she'll get so mad. She's like, no, and then like I'll just start laughing, and so like after about 30 seconds, she'll start laughing, and then I'm like, do you want to watch the video? Okay, let's watch it. And so,
That's awesome.
but the worst is like when I scare her and like she's eating something, because then she gets angry. Dad, I spilled my stuff. This is all your fault. Like one time I scared her in the morning. She was eating cereal all over the bed. And I didn't care. I knew I was going to clean it up, but I was like, this is hilarious. She got so mad. Dad, where's my Fruity Pebbles? They're gluten-free.
Nice.
Man, Fruity Pebbles.
Bro, Fruity Pebbles.
I haven't had that in a long time.
You know what I'm really into right now? Those wheat, those mini wheats, frosted mini wheats. Bro.
I
don't
just
eat
bought some
cereal,
Golden
so
Grams
that's-
today.
You don't eat cereal?
Not really.
Oh, man, I love cereal. I'm not a big breakfast fan, but I will eat cereal.
Nice.
I just like, I don't know. Most people are like, yeah, cereal, milk. I'm like, I'll drink the milk and then eat the cereal. So
you
it looks
can't eat
I just don't like combining the two because then the cereal gets soggy and then it makes me want to throw up.
Oh, no, see, that's the best. because then after you've eaten all the soggy chunks, then you have little chunks floating, and you're now like Lucky Charms flavored milk. So good. It's magically delicious.
Hey, that was one of the linchpins to the success of a bakery in New York, if you're curious. They started making and selling cereal milk, and then they started making soft-serve ice cream out of it. And then people were like, "Oh man, this is pretty good." And then they started making things called crack pies and stuff. And so now they have a small empire that's going all over the place.
Mm. Yeah, nice. I'm probably gonna have a bowl of cereal when we're done with this show now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, what's that one kind of cereal? It's Honey Bunches of Oats. Oh, bro, with the blue almond box.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just thinking of that right now. So good.
This has been.
You know what my wife did one time? Speaking of cereal. All right. So Lucky Charms.
Mm-hmm.
My wife literally, she's like you, Matt. She'll eat the cereal, but she also likes to eat cereal dry. She literally ate all the marshmallows out of the cereal. I went to go pour myself a bowl of Lucky Charms, and it was like not a single marshmallow.
What?
Not a single marshmallow.
Here we go. We got these puffed wheat
I'm like,
crackers.
I was like, Marlo, what happened? And then she just started laughing. She's like, "Oh, I totally forgot. The other night I was watching the show, and next thing I know, like all the marshmallows are gone. So I just put them back in the box." I'm like, "You didn't even throw it away? Nothing?" Like, oh my gosh, like, woman, this is terrible. Oh man, and we laughed about that for a long time. She literally ate all the marshmallows. I love my wife, bro. She's so cool.
Just sitting there like, "Happy Halloween, babe."
We stopped buying Lucky Charms because my kids would try to do that. And I'm like, no. Stop eating all the marshmallows out. Eat the rest of the cereal, too. So, good times.
Good times.
I know this probably isn't going to be a surprise to anybody, but what is your current favorite, quote-unquote, scary-themed game?
Just going to go ahead and type it out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think I know everybody's.
Pretty sure.
All right. What do you think mine is?
Mansions of Madness.
Roy, what do you think mine is?
You're betraying the legacy if you don't say Mansions of Madness.
I'm not saying that it is, or I'm not saying that it isn't. But what do you think it is?
I know mine is Mansions of Madness, so if yours isn't Mansions of Madness,
the thing is, as long as I type it once, I got it right. That's all that matters.
Roy, what do you think?
I said Mansions of Madness. I'm just saying, if yours isn't, then you're wrong.
It's
Dead of Winter, the follow-up.
No, I think as far as scary goes, Dead of Winter, it's just zombies. No, just kidding.
See, God, that's the. I don't know. That's the aspect that I wish they would have focused on a bit more in Dead of Winter, where it's
Some
just
of the
like,
story
hey,
and cards can be creepy, I guess, a little bit. Rob never answered.
I just want a game where it's hard because life is hard. You know what I mean? Like, none of the extra forces are just out there. I don't need zombies to try and survive in the Yukon with a stick. You know what I mean? Like, that's already going to be tough enough.
Oh, you want a scary game like on Life?
Yet? Well, it's kind of weird, too.
You want a scary game on Life?
Yeah, man.
I know what it's called. It's called being a 1099 employee in April.
Hey,
That's scary. And then when you talk to your accountant and they're like, "Sir, you owe this." What's really scary? How do you pay? How do you pay for that?
You guys take payments or?
The IRS is like, yeah, we'll absolutely take payments because we need that money at some point. And as long as you're trying to pay us, we'll be very nice. But if you don't, we will even kill you.
Yeah.
We will sell your kidneys on the black market for that sweet, sweet money.
Yeah, they will. So listen, I think I'm going to surprise you guys on my scariest game.
Okay.
All right, what do you got?
Here's my thing. To me, Mansions of Madness, it's scary, but it's more of a thriller to me than it is scary.
Okay.
The app makes noises when certain things happen, like crashes.
I've played the game so much. It's not scary to me anymore.
Gotcha.
It's intense. It's a thriller, but I'm not like, ooh. I'm gonna say if I had to play like a scariest game right now, I'm gonna say Werewolf Legacy.
What? That scared you?
It wasn't that the game scared me, but playing with other people and some of their stupid decisions and some of their smart decisions
The people
and
scared.
the idea of stuff coming out, because see, I had never played it before, and so it was,
That's true.
what's this new character, what's this new thing, what's this new that. I mean, it's a legacy game, so I'm not spoiling anything. Yes, you do open up stuff, right? I won't go into the details, but like, to me, that was fun and scary, because it was like, crap, there's now this new thing out there, and I don't know what it does. Only that person does, because that's what their card says. So I don't know. And so, like, to me, that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, Mansions of Madness is still my favorite game, but I consider that more of a thriller / suspense. Like, okay, like, are we going to win in time? Because the cult leader doesn't scare me anymore. I'm sorry. Cult leader or, Cthulhu. I've played you so many times.
Just because Matt couldn't, or whoever the cult leader was, couldn't convert everybody doesn't mean that you can't.
It was a guy. Because he got killed night 2, I think.
But anyway, I really, 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 really enjoyed that game. And I think, man, if we had like a mega group of people that like really enjoyed playing that, I think at a con, that could be just so awesome.
I think it would just be easier and cheaper to make your own story with the set that you have.
Me and Rob were talking about that.
We were.
It would be a lot of fun to do that. Because it wouldn't necessarily be hard to just take an old Amazon box that you have from something you bought and be like, there's stuff inside this box. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I mean, because I was talking to Rob about some aspects that I would love to have seen in the game. Then I'm like, this would have been really cool if that happened.
Let us know on this show and other shows if that's something you guys want, because I am totally down to create some stuff for like a con. We just use what we already have and change some stuff up and make our own story and stuff like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, I'd have to say right now that's probably my favorite scary game. I really enjoyed it.
Part of me was kind of hoping that you were going to say a Ouija board.
I had a bad experience with a Ouija board when I was a little kid.
I just love the way, when we had the Board with Life guys on, the way one of them described it as the best-selling dexterity game known to man. I was just like, oh, that's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah.
So good. So I've never been able to
not
think
funny.
about that. I've never been able to not think about that. Anytime somebody mentions a Ouija board, I'm like, oh, not Supernatural, dexterity game, like Rhino Hero.
Yeah.
This is great.
For me, it's still Mansions of Madness because,
Yo.
I love that game, and I think it can be creepy. Except Rob won't play it with me with the lights turned off. See how it is.
We'll probably play it that Friday night at the cabin.
What was I gonna say? I posted that one
Around
picture
candles.
I made, and it actually freaked Rob out. With the, do you remember that picture I took last year? With I did a long exposure on the camera and made an elder sign over the board, and Rob's like, "Yeah, that was actually creepy."
Yeah, that was creepy.
I'm like, "Oh, it's just long exposure. Come on, man. Just make
You're
a
just like,
star."
that's just the summoning sigil for Yogg-Sothoth. It's fine.
I mean, it's pretty much what it looked like. And I'm like, huh, this is an interesting concept for a picture. So Rob's like, no, calm down. Stop trying to actually summon Cthulhu. It's not cool.
Oh, speaking of Cthulhu, I learned this the other day. There's a point in the Pacific Ocean where if you go straight down to the opposite end of the Earth, you're still in the Pacific Ocean. That's how big the Pacific Ocean is.
Oceans are huge, man.
And so they were like, yeah, and somewhere in between that's where Cthulhu is. I was just like, hey, there it is.
Relay.
Isn't it like where the Pacific and the Atlantic meet? It's two different colors, and you can literally drive a boat through it, and you can see the two colors won't mix. Have you guys seen that video?
Oh, I don't know.
I know about it. I'm not.
YouTube that video of where the Atlantic and Pacific meet, and you'll actually see I think the Atlantic is a lot darker water, and the Pacific is a lot lighter, and it's weird because they're waving, they're doing all this stuff. You'll see the waves go through it, but they don't mix colors.
And if you go to the utter east, do you go to Aslan's country or?
No.
Reepicheep.
Oh man, Turkish delight though. Anyhow.
I know, right? Dude, man, I grew up on those like BBC shows of the the Chronicles of Narnia. Good times.
So anyway, anything else?
Should be it.
Yup.
That was a fun show, man.
Awesome, guys.
Daredevil season 3, man. I'm gonna try to finish it tonight.
There you go.
Cool. I wish I had time to watch it.
I think I might watch Ant-Man.
The new one?
Yeah.
Is it good?
I don't know.
Fun.
I bought it because I was like, man, I just want to watch a fun movie.
It's
Yeah, yeah.
fun.
So I
The
figured
BBC Narnia is cringy, Darth. You are right about that.
Listen,
Bro,
it was the 90s.
Bro, that BBC Narnia with like they had like
The
people in
animal
outfits
costumes
for
are terrible.
All of the animals,
They're terrible.
they are terrible.
But dude, I was like
That's cringeworthy right there.
I was like 7. Like I don't know what you expect.
Man, that was freaky.
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff.
Matt died, I think. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast. We stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out live on youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. We're always talking with chat and having fun hanging out with you guys. Also, we want to say thank you so much to all of our amazing patrons for supporting us on Patreon. If you want to support us on Patreon, make sure to check us out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. We'll give you a shout out. And
if we ever win the lottery, you're going to get hooked up.
Yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, also make sure to check out all of us on Instagram at Epic Gaming Night, at Shades of the Mind, and at writing.newman. And thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Cabin Con coming up.
Hype!
touch butts and stuff.